Hello, 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 everyone. It is your girl, Tahira, Mother of the Ages. Buckle down, guys. It's time to jump right into this very important message. We're going to be exploring the energy, and I'm hearing the energy currency of the hurricane. Spirit is present, Spirit is with us. We're going to channel the truth about Hurricane Milton and about the other hurricane that hit Asheville. Guys, I've been sitting with the energy. I've been watching some footage and I've been crying. I've been tearing up. I'm not even going to lie to you. This feels personal, guys, because when you when you hear what Source has to say, you will understand just how personal it actually is, not just for me, but for all of us. Guys, I'm about to blow your mind with what's truly going on with the hurricane. We're going to talk about Kamala's energy was found. We're going to talk about them wanting us to lose our vision, our sight. We're going to talk about a page that Spirit had me open up to. This is the book that I wrote. It's The Great Expansion, a Cosmic Bible for the Ages, Book 1, The Ego Divide. Spirit said, open up to page 63. And if you guys have this Cosmic Bible, please open up to page 63. It's going to explain exactly why Florida is getting hit so hard, and even North Carolina, and even Georgia, and even that whole region. They really want that whole region, guys. So buckle down, guys. Subscribe to the channel, guys. Stop pocket watching me and subscribe. No, subscribe to the channel. Yeah, I'm playing. I'm being silly. Just trying to lighten up this dark message, guys. I'm going to tap into the energy really quickly, connect back again to the energy, and then we're going to start. We're going to get this show on the road, okay? Give me 1 second. There's definitely a shift going on, or rather, this is to stop the shift. Everyone who's on an ascension journey knows there's a shift. We are being supported by the angelic realm, by the ancestral realm, by the cosmic realm, by the universe, by the galactics. We are being supported right now. And all of this is not only to stop the ascension, but it's also to bring confusion to our financial markets and real estate as well. First thing I want to do is I'm going to start off with what Spirit wanted me to read on page 63. So I'm going to read the first part, talk about it, then I'll read the second part. So Spirit is saying, the matrix operates on a good cop, bad cop system of polarities. In every sector, especially in our financial sector. Have you ever heard of the saying, stock market runs on fear and greed? This is how the stock market succeeds. Another common phrase is the house always wins. The creators of these financial markets capitalize because they understand and use the matrix polarity system, including the state of FOMO, the fear of missing out. This fear-driven greed causes people to buy at the peak of the market, inflating stock prices. The market makers then initiate a sell-off, driving the stock prices down and triggers a state of fear, leading to panic selling, which often results in huge losses for the average investor. The market makers also make money when the stock falls in price. This is a secular process that has been repeated since the inception of the stock market. It's like watching a dog chase its tail. Okay, that's the first message. This is what's going on a cardinal level, on a flesh level. And then I'll read to you what's going on a spiritual level on page 63. So what Spirit is saying is the reason why these hurricanes, and I'm really, guys, I'm hearing cyclone. And I've been hearing that for a few days now. And when I sat down here to deliver this message, I heard cyclone. I feel very strongly, guys, that Spirit is saying we're going into a financial storm. I'm actually hearing shit show. It's going to be a shit show. Now, some will capitalize if they think like the house. The house always win. What does this really mean? It means if you follow the buying patterns of the institutions. So you sell when you need to sell and you short when you need to short. So you're both bullish and bearish. That's what that means. But for the people who have rose-colored glasses on, it won't be so pretty. I'm here to tell you, they're going to decimate the financial market and the real estate market. Just heard something. I'm going to write that down. Okay. Spirit is saying war crimes. War crimes. I really want to get off into that, and we will. It's almost like we're going through war crimes right now. Guys, we're at war. The United States is actually at war. And I'm hearing we're at war with ourselves and we're at war with our victims. So now I'm tapping into the energy of this, so to speak, United States of America. This hurricane is part of a war crime. And I'm not even really truly sure what that means all the way. And I'm going to just find out, because this is really coming through very clearly here. So a war crime is a violation of the law of war that gives rise to individual criminal responsibility for actions by combats in action, such as intentionally murking civilians or intentionally murking. They reiterated. So I feel as if part of this is a crime against humanity. And I didn't know, guys, what I'm about to say, I did not sit down to say this. I did not sit down to say this. But guys, you have to understand, there's been a lot of bloodshed on this land. This is what Source is saying now. Every civilization they've wiped out. They've played tricks, pretended to be friends when they were foe. Our ancient civilizations, they've wiped out. Even when we had Queen Khalifa. Queen Khalifa was the queen of California. She was a beautiful melanated queen. That's what this civilization used to look like, guys. You have to understand everything. Everything you've been told is an absolute lie. It's an absolute lie. America is being punished, but also America is also punishing. This is convoluted, guys, and it's complicated. It's convoluted and it's complicated. But the first thing Source wants us to know is that there's been too much bloodshed, and now they have to pay for the lives that were stolen. Okay, so I truly believe this is giving reference to the group of people that we call the African Americans, right? Because Source is saying they have to pay for what was stolen. These are the war crimes. So it appears that part of this, and it's very interesting how nature takes its course. Now we know there's a lot of this ain't all nature. Most of this is not nature driven, but Source has a way of even using an evil plan against the ones who wanted to cause the infliction, which is what's happening. This was not Source's doing. And we're going to get to Kamala. Shocking. And we're going to get to what they're truly doing. But Source is coming through very clearly and saying that the people that were stolen, this is part of the war crime. This is part of your affliction. This is part, I'm hearing part of your drowning. Didn't know this video was going to be like this. Didn't know. So there's like, I don't want to call it a tall tale, but many have said that the hurricanes usually follow the same path as the transatlantic slave trade. But what most people don't know is that these, so to speak, African American people, which I belong to that group, but I don't call myself that, are the indigenous people of this land. And when I mean indigenous, I'm not talking about Native American. Native Americans and Aboriginal could be different and they could be same, just depending, because some, so to speak, slaves, Aboriginals that were captured right here on this land, some of them found safety in some Native American tribes. And so they became intermixed. So there is a difference between us Aboriginals and the Native Americans, right? So Spirit is giving reference to the ones that were stolen. So I do clearly see that that is talking about the African American people, and that this is the wages of sin, so to speak. So a war crime, a violation of the law of war. There we go, guys. We were under war. When the colonizers came here, guys, this was a war. You have to understand that there is part of the story that was never spoken. Wow, I did not see this video being like this. They would take, so to speak, well, I was going to say slaves, but at that time they were just the Aboriginal people of this land, which are the so-called African Americans. They would take them from one side of the country to the next. They didn't come. A lot of people never came from Africa. You didn't know where you were going, right? You didn't know. You just knew that you were not in the place that your tribe was anymore, that you're now in a different land, right? Some slaves did come on slave ships. Most of those slaves went to the Caribbeans and even Brazil. Some came, of course, to North America, but most did not. Because you have to think, why would you need to go and take that long journey, cross the ocean, risk your life, rounding up all of these slaves, bring them back here, hope that they're still alive, when you can just enslave the people that are right here on this land? That is the history that most don't know. Most of us know in the conscious community, but a lot of people just don't know that history. And if you look back at some of your ancestors' birth certificates, I know it's hard to get access to their birth certificates, but if you have access to your grandmother or great grandmother or grandfather's, right? Birth certificate, a lot of the times it will say colored. And before that, it was Indian. They have changed this, so to speak, African American race so much that they have even forgotten who they are. But anytime you see colored, that's basically Indian. Or you could even have an actual color on there. I've seen in some cases where it says red Indian, yellow, you know. My mother is part of many indigenous Native American tribes as well as Aboriginal, because that's separate, right? So my mother's part of the Shoshone and Cherokee. Those tribes that's separate. Those are Native Americans. But there was a group of people that were here prior to the Native Americans coming from Asia. And that's what we call the, so to speak, African Americans, which in truth, African Americans are an admixture of Aboriginals from here, from America, from Native Americans that originally came from Asia over 15, 16,000 years ago, and the colonizers and white colonizers. So this is the admixture of a, so to speak, African American. So that's how you get the mixture, which now makes up this group of people, right? So I didn't know this video was going to be like this. I honestly didn't until Spirit is talking. So Spirit is saying that part of this is because there was a war going on here. We were under war. The common Aboriginals didn't know it. But guys, you remember the Moors. So the Moors, we'll say Aboriginals. So the Moors occupied this land before the colonizers came. So the Moors were basically at war with the colonizers, or which would be, you know, the British or the French, or, you know, everyone that was coming over here. There was a war going on. We didn't know it. We just thought we were being stolen. Spirit ain't saying that. Know what Spirit is saying? This is crazy. Especially what I'm seeing is the people that actually did come from Africa, the ancestors that came from there. Spirit said, no, you were being gifted. I feel that the colonizers were allowed to go there. They were told to go there because they were told that those were gifts for them. Some sort of peace offering from this war that got out of control, and the war is still being waged against us. And now not just us, but everyone, not just in America, but on planet Earth, we are under attack. Guys, stay with me. This is going to get very deep. I didn't know this video would be like this. So the original Africans were a gift. And that's why they went there. Now, did they still have to capture them and go through all that? Was it still, you know, treacherous and all of that? Yes, but that's why they went there. They didn't just show up like, y'all, this is crazy. Please don't let me lose my black card. I love my black card. But what Spirit is saying, they didn't just go there exploring. They were told to go there and pick up their gifts. See what I'm saying? So when some Black Americans sit up here and tell Africans that, hey, y'all sold me, there is some truth to that. It wasn't necessarily a sell, like it was a gift. It was money, because back then, that's why this group of people, and now I'm calling slaves because it's so intricate. It's like you got the African Americans, you got the Africans, you got the Aboriginals, you got Native Americans over here. Then somehow you get all mixed up. It's crazy. But They didn't just go over there, the colonizers. They were told to go pick up their gifts. This is what source is saying. And so we were looked at as chattel, as property. And property, what is worth money? So in one way, when you say that they say that the Africans sold the other Africans that were on the slave ships, there is some truth to that because you were worth your weight in gold. That's what source is saying. We were at war when the colonizers came here. All those years, that 400 years of slavery, and even beyond then, because it ain't just start there. It's been a long war. We've been fighting a war for a very long time. And this hurricane, these hurricanes, although there is falsity to what's going on, and we're going to get to Kamala, source is using that to redirect the eye of the storm purposefully because they must now pay for the crimes against humanity, against the, so to speak, African Americans. That's what I'm giving. I never set out to actually say this, but I love that we can shine some light on that so we can all stop fighting. We were in a war, very long war. We didn't know we were in war. We were just living our life in our own little tribes in this place that we used to call Turtle Island before it was called America. Okay. So as we were under a war then, it's the same thing now. That's what source is saying. The war never ended. It just only expanded. Only expanded. The reason why this is happening, not only to avenge the ones that were stolen. So this is deep, y'all. It's on a DNA level. Because if you do your genealogy, most people have some sort of African DNA. Most people do, no matter how small that it is. The part of your DNA that was stolen, that was ripped away, either from Africa or from, I was going to say this side of Africa, but that's convoluted, so I won't say that. We'll just stick to the map as it currently is today. That aspect of you is being avenged. So you don't have to show up like me. You could show up with pale face and you could still be being avenged, guys. This is deep. This is a cleansing out on a cellular level. We are being cleansed out. Our DNA is being cleansed. But the war ain't over. And so not only the ones that were stolen from Africa over there, and the ones that were stolen from lands over here and taken in boats to another side of the country. These are the people being avenged. And also, the war still continues. This cyclone that I've been channeling for days, and I want to really look that up because Spirit has really been trying to tell me about this. Give me a second, guys. Okay, it says, In meteorology, a cyclone is a large air mass that rotates around a strong center of low atmospheric pressure, counterclockwise in the northern hemisphere and clockwise in the southern hemisphere, as viewed from above. Cyclones are characterized by inward spiraling winds that rotate about a zone of low pressure. Conflict. These are the polarities I kept talking about. There's hot and there's cold. There's this way and that way, right and left. This cyclone is the big equalizer. This hurricane is an equalizer. It's here to revert and take us back, to put certain people back, bring them back to a particular status, bring them back to a particular timeline. I truly believe that Source is saying that this is going to shift timelines. I feel very deeply that the whole timeline where there was this war, aka slavery, aka the slave trade, is being reversed. Being reversed. That's what Source is saying, guys. This is powerful. And this ain't no black and white thing, but rather this is a humanity thing. Because I believe that humanity is ready to evolve. This is all of our higher consciousness, and we'll get to that. We'll get to that. This is very deep, guys. So that's the first message. I don't want to make that too long. So I don't know what they have planned really quickly for the financial markets, but Spirit is saying is to make us dizzy. It's to make us dizzy and fall. So I'm kind of seeing that there will be a lot of movement, upward movement, downward movement, upward movement, downward movement. And then there will be a great fall. There will be a great fall. Interesting. I was going to say, when is that coming? It feels like it's the fall, possibly the fall of next year. It's a great fall. So now shifting gears to Kamala. I had a prophetic dream about Kamala about 4 days ago or so. Spirit said in the dream, she is a star or an astro body that comes along every 1.5 million years to destroy. And I've been channeling a lot about Kamala's energy from the beginning. I said, this is Kamala's energy. Hear no evil, speak no evil, see no evil. This is why when I went to write the word vision, something like my pen moved and it crossed off the S, standing for see. They don't want us to see. They don't want us to evolve. They don't want us to make the shift. This cyclone is shifting us. It's reverting us back so that we can rewrite history, really. And the beautiful part about now us rewriting history, we are rewriting it together. We're no longer divided. And that's another reason too, when we see destruction happen, there's a good part, because as it outlines in this book, Spirit said there will be, these things will happen so that you guys can cling together, so that you guys can form your soul clusters and soul groups. So it's not all bad. And Kamala is facilitating this. Her energy comes to planet every 1.5 million years to basically destroy so that we can reset, so that we can bring destruction, let it all fall down, and then reset. This is why she's here. Of course, she doesn't know it. This is spiritually speaking of what's going on from a higher viewpoint. So no, Kamala is not here to help you. And Trump cannot save you because Trump has been himself compromised. I knew he was compromised the moment the media shifted and started to like him because they spent the past years vilifying him. The media is dangerous. The media is demonic. You have to know that. I used to work in media. One of my first jobs in Hollywood, I actually interned at a popular news station. And I would notice there would be news stories left on the cutting room floor, things that were very important for humanity to know, but it never made it on air. It never did. So Trump has been compromised. You have to know that. You have to know that. I don't know if it's his clone or double, but you have to know that the real Trump is not going to be the one taking office. If he gets in the office, if they haven't already replaced him, he will be replaced by springtime. I'm telling you. And I love Trump, but even he's being compromised. Even part of him and his consciousness is different now. They've been working on that for a long time, guys. You have to know that. We have no allies. We have no allies. If an energy like Kamala can come onto the Earth School, it's like I'm getting the image of cutting out your tongue, cutting off your eyes and your ears. Like this has always been her energy since I've been tapping into it. And also too, I'm getting something very strange about teeth, about possibly even there's something that's going to be found in like I think human remains. And I think this has to do with like maybe ancient burial sites. There's going to be something that releases and reveals a lot of truth about the people here on this land. And it's going to be found from the dental, not records, but they'll be able to examine, the bones per se. There's something there that's going to be found where the world will come into this knowledge about America. Yeah. And give me a second because I have a few more messages to give. And I'm going to go ahead and read the rest of page 63. So this is the second paragraph on page 63 from my book, The Great Expansion, a Cosmic Bible for the Ages. Once humanity transcends ego consciousness, they will no longer be controllable subjects. However, most people have bought into this matrix polarity system, hook, line, and sinker. They believe and never question the things they see on the news, the books that they read, and the religions they belong to. They wholeheartedly trust that the world system has their best interests in mind, condemning anyone else who believes contrarily. These are the ones that the celestial beings will remove because they have surrendered their free will to the adversary force. Life is a game that requires our full participation. It demands inner wisdom and knowledge of self to win it. However, they cannot win that which they do not even acknowledge. Their ego has made a comfy bed for them. They will drown in their own ignorance. Heed this sharp warning from thy Lord, not the Lord that you know, but the one you owe everything to, for it's the one that preys on you. We're going to break this down. So now that we know that Trump can't save us because he's been compromised, they've been trying to get him under control for some time. Like I said, it's more than likely if he gets, and I'm hearing hired, girl, it's not even elected. He gets hired for the job, for the acting job. That's this office, because we know America don't exist no more. Oh, I think I'm stepping into my old self now. We know America don't exist no more. So this is no longer America. America has been sold a long time ago. We know that. So if he gets hired for this acting role, he can't save us because they're going to put his clone up there. They're controlling all of this. And, Kamala has purposely come here to destroy. So we're on our own, guys. We are completely on our own, but we are acting like there's a system in place to protect us. And that simply is not true. Guys, this was a channel Bible from source. I wholeheartedly believe 1,000% everything that was channeled. Source is saying once humanity transcends ego consciousness, this pain, this destruction that's happening with the hurricane is for our own advancement, so that we can put down the sword, put down the guns, see your brother and sister, no matter what race they are, what gender, what background they belong to, what social group. Put that down and look in the heart space. That's how we transcend ego consciousness. The ego is what divides us. So now that you see these survivors clinging together in this time, even though they lost everything, guys, there's something that they are gaining that is invaluable. They have been stripped from their ego consciousness, forced to survive along every walk of life. In that moment, they are one. So as of source says, the 5-night stampede is coming, has been coming, is here to destroy parts of this world, to not only clear the energies, clearing people, clearing energies, even clearing, I'm hearing, soiled lands, bodily lands. That's what source is saying, soiled bodily lands, to clear that. Who is this 5-night stampede that I talk of in this book? It's an aspect of our higher consciousness. And when you go to sleep at night, guys, that's when we're doing our work. We're going back up to the heavens, to the cosmos. We're talking, we're meeting with not only our spirit team, but we're meeting, some of us are heads of galactic councils. I sit on the Galactic Council, the 12th dimensional council, Stargate system. That's the council that I belong to. Some of us are meeting with our council. This is our higher consciousness. We've decided to do this. We've decided to destroy. We've decided to bring the war crimes We decided to end this war that's been going on for thousands of years. The war, the people in front, yes, they've changed races many times, but it's still the same energy enslaving us. Don't get it twisted. They've been white, they've been Spanish, which is still European. They've been Moors, yes. They've been African, they've been Aboriginal. It's the same people, just a different face. That's what Source is saying. So when we go to our galactic councils in the stars, we're reviewing the shift of humanity. Are they ready yet? Are they ready to love? Had they had enough pain? Are we ready to end this? But guys, you have to know that before you end something, you always must make it right. What I've learned with my work here as a spiritual quantum healer, spiritual hypnotherapist, there's an aspect of your soul that will not be made whole, that will linger around near this earth realm until you make it right or you fix your karma, you pay it off. This is what humanity is going through. It's a collective clearing of karmic goo, karmic debt. We are like the cyclone. We're going in an opposite direction to make it whole. And so for the people who believe all of this foolishness on the news, they believe every single thing they read. And then when you want to say something that goes against the media, they're demons. That goes against the media, then you have the problem. These are the people that are going to be taken. And it doesn't mean that they will be taken in the hurricane. I'm not saying that. But they will be taken by celestial beings that are coming. Angels of death are coming to take the non-awakened ones because they are holding down the herd of humanity from transcending ego consciousness. That's the goal. Moving back into unity consciousness, group consciousness is the goal. And so for these ones that believe everything that the media says, and they believe in the Kamalas of the world, they are being removed. But I thought what was very interesting is this passage is saying, heed the sharp warning from the Lord. Not the Lord that you know, but it's the one you owe everything to. For it's the one that preys on you. And when I first channeled this, I was like, what is that? I was like, that is very interesting. But when I looked at what a Lord is, you're going to be shocked. And I'm going to see if I can share my screen here. So a Lord is someone you pay taxes to. These are the people preying on you. It's the governments from around the world. These are your lords and saviors. It says in medieval Europe, people paid taxes to their local lords, also known as feudal lords. Taxes. Lords collected taxes from the people living on their lands, usually in the form of goods and services. Interesting. Who does that sound like? People paid taxes. Lords collected taxes from the people living on their land. You're living on the land, usually in the form of goods and services. Every time you get a good or services, there's a tax. By the way, it's double taxation because you've already taxed when you got your check. Now, every time you spend money, you're being taxed. Just saying. Aids. Lords could ask their vassals for an aid which was a tax paid for a specific event, such as the knighting of the eldest son or the first marriage of their eldest daughter. You're doing this even though we don't have these, so to speak, kings and queens here. You're still paying, you're still giving aid. You're giving aid. You're providing aid to the government, to the Lord that preys on you. This is your Lord and Savior. I want you to know you've not been worshiping the Lord. The government, I've always said, G-O-V, G-O-D. Same thing. Why does it sound similar? Because the governments were set up to mimic God, guys. They were set up to be your Lord and Savior. And I'm not dissing the Holy Bible, which I respect, but also too, they changed things. And you got to understand that a lot of the prints were done by the very people that are collecting the taxes from you. It's the same group of people, guys, that's been enslaving us. Same people who printed these books. Who's to say they didn't slip in one or two things or 1,000 things that would keep you enslaved? Slaves, obey your masters. It's one of the Bible verses that I know they slipped in because I know source didn't say that. I already know. It's common sense. My spirit rejects that. You have to know when you have keen discernment. But they are your God. They're your Lord and Savior, guys. So I keep telling you, the same people you're running to, government, the presidents, you're still paying for federal things. That's why they take the federal taxes. You're paying for the election. You're paying for all of this. You're paying for things that you don't want to pay for. You're paying for the migrants. You're paying for everything. You're giving aid to this Lord, giving aid to it. You're also providing judicial relief. A new vassal paid a tax to the Lord when they took possession of a fief. I don't know what a fief is, but more taxes, guys. More taxes. This is how they've been enslaving us. And I believe taxes is going to end. And to be honest with you, it might have already ended, but y'all just don't know about it. Seriously, it might have already ended, but we just don't know about it. So what is fief? It's an estate of land, especially one held on condition of feudal service, right? Guys, this is deep. Taxes will be going away. I think it's already gone away, but I think right now people are just it's voluntary anyway. Y'all do know that it's voluntary. It is. It's not mandatory. It's voluntary. But this is your God. Most people, the God that you claim that you've been praying to, I would beg that they are ciphering your prayers because I've caught them stealing prayers before. Sounds strange, but this is what's going on. That's why when you truly, truly want to tap into source and really get answers, you really see the people that go into deep prayer and meditation. Those are the ones that reach source, that reach God, the true God, not the government God that's ciphering even prayers from source. They usually go into a level of fasting or praying every day with their Bibles or whatever, spiritual text that they have. They're really about that life because they're able to push through that barrier. But for the people that are lukewarm, who just say a prayer here and there and nothing ever changes, it's because you're praying, your prayers are going to your government. They're your God, they're your Lord. They're your Lord. You're paying taxes to them. The very fact, if you pay taxes to them, then you are saying that they are your Lord. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So all this destruction is also showing us that this whole system is crumbling. So it's not all bad. There is some good that will come out of this, but there will be much destruction, guys. There will be a lot of people leaving this earth, some being taken by source, by their galactic families or star families, some being taken by angels of death. Yeah. Also, a payment made in lieu of military service by a feudal tenant. So you're paying for the military. You're paying tax to have military. Now I know what you're saying. Oh, yeah, because we want to be protected. Have you been protected? Because they didn't let in 5011 undocumented migrants. And it's not about the migrants. And I don't think Americans have big hearts. We would not care. Trust me, I want people to come here, live their best life, have the opportunities that I have. But it's gotten out of control where people are, this is false. It's just an open call. People are literally flying into Mexico to come across the border. There's people there from all countries. It's not just Mexicans and the Venezuelans coming over here, y'all, and the Haitians. There's a lot of people. Your government, your God, that's stealing your prayers and stealing your money. You're being screwed. That's what Source is basically saying. This is worse than P. Diddy style. It's what, if you know, then you know. It's worse than P. Diddy style. This is what's happening. And then tally. A tax demanded by the Lord, your government, of a manor from the inhabitants of his domain, including peasants and vassals, y'all. So now we peasants, y'all. This is what I'm saying. Demanded. How dare they? How dare they demand? Demand. A tax demanded by the Lord of a manor from its inhabitants. First of all, why are you can't own a land that was here before you got here. So in real estate law, this is why when you buy a house, you never truly own the land. Or let's just take land, that's simple. You never can own it because the theory behind it is the land was here before you got here. Well, I'm going to use that same law of real estate and say, well, how can we be your inhabitants? How can you have domain and dominion over us when A, we were here before you got here, and B, the land was here before you even got here? So it's the same thing. They are operating out of a false system. And the moment we decide to pull the plug on them, to shut this GOV down, because guys, that's the true answer to all of this. No one's coming for you. No one is coming to save you, to help you, to cradle you, to give you any aid. You see that they ain't bringing no aid. FEMA ain't there. The locals have to all band together, right? That's what's going on. And we are truly in the eye of the storm. The Spirit is saying this is a storm that has lasted for even millions, I'm hearing, of years. There will be a shift. There will be, I'm hearing, a holy shift. A holy shift. There will be righteousness that comes out of this. It may take some time. And we're in the beginning of the end, guys. So these things could take another 50, 100 years. But just know if you're alive right now, your soul is the one that stood up in the cosmic sphere and said, no, I'm coming down to help with the shift. I'm coming down back to planet Earth to take back what's mine, what's righteous, what is sources. I want to be part of the great expansion, the shift of consciousness. This is the true evolution of the stars, of the cosmos. So this eye of the storm, this is the finale, and it's been building for millions of years. That's what Source is saying. And I'm going to do a quick prayer, just a meditation and a clearing for anyone that's been affected by any hurricanes, the hurricanes going on now as we speak, and all the past hurricanes that have stolen. Thank you, Source. Source is also saying the ones that were in the path of these falsified storms and their livelihood and properties were stolen from them. They're also grouped in with this surge going on with Milton and in Asheville. They are also being fought for. I know it may seem like you lost a lot, you lost everything, and I do understand, and my heart fully goes out to each and every one of you guys, deeply and completely. But I'm hearing you will have your day in court. This is your day in court. You're going to get what was stolen back. It's going to come back to you. It's going to be better than ever. Stay in high vibrations. And this Kamala was never meant to be anything but a destructive force. So when you see this storm that really, I'm hearing is going to awaken giants. There's something buried under the ground, guys, that it's going to awaken. Now, I do hear about the lithium mines that I do believe is located under Asheville, which is one of the reasons why this is going on. But as there's darkness, there's also light. I feel as if this destruction is going to awaken something that's been hidden, a part of our history in this land of America that has been hidden from us. And this energy is going to rise up like a phoenix, and it's going to support the collective uprising against overthrowing the GOV. This is the truth of what we need to do. And it's not about overthrowing. Let me take that back. Remove your energy from them. Everything is energy. Your energy currency is your power. Remove and delete their files, their fake systems, fake documents. It's all created by man. None of this is by God. It's time to govern self. Just focus on governing self. And if that government, which now I'm calling the shadow government, yes, there is a true shadow government and the actual government, your GOV, but I'm just going to make them a shadow government. Make them a shadow government in your life. When you focus on governing self, you can move mountains to support that in which you know in your heart is righteous. You don't have to be binded down by them. I'm going to move how I want to move. I'm going to do what I want to do. And I'm going to self-govern. And they can do their thing. But I'm not part of it because I'm sovereign. And we have always been the sovereign here. If you have the breath of life, you are the sovereign. If you've come here on the earth school right now, you have decided to defeat the enemy, the devil, which is the human ego, being expressed by all of these characters that we see in our judicial systems. We've come here to defeat that by raising our own frequency. And that's why this is here to derail us. It's multi-layered, guys. I don't want to make this too long. I don't want to keep But I want to pull one last message from my book, just open to a random page. And I'm going to just read it and see if it can help us. Mountains have long, I'm reading from page 29. Mountains have long been revered as places to pray, to meditate, and to hear from God. Even in the Holy Bible, the book of Revelation speaks about seeking refuge in the mountains during times of trouble and being fed spiritually there. If only humanity understood this, we would be running to these same mountains. Only this time, they have lost their potency because we rejected them. The Christ energy, too, is being called back into itself. We all have the ability to retrieve our energy, and the Christ energy has exercised that right. It's called free will. Period. Can't make it up, guys. This book is magical. Go ahead and pick this up. It's The Great Expansion, a Cosmic Bible for the Ages, Book 1, The Ego Divide. I just opened to that random page, and there it is when I talk about self-government. Call your energy back to yourself. The mountains, guys, the mountains is God energy. It's really stuck God energy. There's really gods that have turned into a mountain of remembrance. There's energy there. This is why when they talk about going to higher ground, even in the eye of the storm, people say, I got to get to higher ground, got to get to higher ground. What they're really saying is, I got to get back to source, back to God, back to higher consciousness. This is your savior, guys. Everything you need has been put inside of you. You want to pray? Go ahead and pray. I pray too. But it's internal, guys. I know too much now. Even when I try to do it the old way, I reject it because I know too much. Source would never leave you here without a divine GPS system. Activate your soul, turn it on. You are a spark soul from the cosmos. Your soul can power galaxies. This is how infinite you are. You are powerful. I want you to know that. Refuse their poison, their food. That's what Source is saying. It's also attacking us through the food. Call your energy back. Take up your cross and go. I think I'm gonna leave this message here for now, guys. Thank you for being here. And I love you guys so much. Love is the way. Oh, let me do the meditation. I've totally forgot. Let me do the prayer really quickly. And what I do, guys, I work with energy. And I'm just tapping into the energy here of Hurricane Milton. Asking for grace for our homes, for our children, for our pets, for our families, for the elderly, for the ones that didn't have money to leave. Just asking for grace to cover us with a blanket of love, Source. Cover us with your grace. Lift us up to those mountains spiritually. Even if the water does touch, allow us to be light as a feather so we can float and survive. It is a clearing. It is a healing, my child. That's what Source is saying. It's a clearing, it's a healing. It will be well once we call our energy back, lean into our own self, soul tribes, and soul families, and they will go away. I love you guys. Love is the way. Forgiveness, it is the key. And truth is the absolute light that will always, always guide us home. Be well. Be well, guys. Bye.